Thank you, Joe. So once again, thank you guys all for coming, joining us at Luminar Central's very first seminar. So my name is Aiden Peter. I'll be attending Harvard this coming fall. I am someone who has a lot of interests, so I'm planning to concentrate in either computer science, psychology, economics, or public policy, amongst others, like engineering is also something I'm interested in. So a little bit more about me. I was admitted to Harvard, MIT, and the United States Naval Academy. Eventually, I ended up choosing Harvard due to the possibility for academic exploration. I'm currently working as a hydrogen technology intern, doing a lot of design and engineering for the company. I have received many awards for national art competitions. I'm currently a Dunning Fellow for automotive design. I've received congressional medals, as I said, art accolades. I'm also an Eagle Scout and Scout leader. I've run leadership training programs. I've mentored countless students to becoming their own leaders. I've helped others during the college process. I founded numerous clubs and organizations that aligned with my interest. And today, amongst all of these accomplishments, I want to mainly talk about engineering and art and how you can package your interests in engineering and art into the college application in the form of portfolios. So a little more about my background. To go into the specifics, art and design are central to who I am. A few ways this has taken its shape is through advocacy. I've done a lot of art through for children's mental health. I've increased advocacy for endangered species through my art. I've also used leadership through art to paint a mural in my school that I can talk about a little later. And of course, I've had a lifelong passion for transportation. I could name every car on the road from the age of 2. And that translated into a love for automotive design that have won me numerous internships and scholarships going forward. So another part of who I am is tinkering. So as I said before, I'll be talking about art and engineering. And I grew up tinkering, and I had to give a lot of thanks to my dad, who introduced me to all the gadgets and gizmos that exist in my garage. I've done a lot of projects with the Raspberry Pi and Arduino. I've built a delivery drone. I'll talk about this a little later, but my Eagle project was also a product of my engineering during COVID. And a lot of what I do is tinkering for service. And the theme in my application, what I saw was that I try to expand my passions to make a real impact on the communities around me. And a lot of my academic experiences shaped what I did in my art and my engineering. For example, applying my learning in computer science classes to eventually programming projects, going to AP art programs to improve my art skills and finally put together a portfolio. So yeah, if you guys have a phone on hand, you guys can definitely check out my website as well. I've displayed a lot of my artwork and my maker projects there. So if you want to see a little more about that, go ahead and do it. So now I'd like to move on and talk a little more about how I made an impact through my engineering and my art. So on the left here are 2 images of a mural that I painted in the school. So this was my own initiative done through the National Honor Society. And I got so many kids in school involved in painting this mural that still stands in the hallways today. Another example is these face shields that I built for my Eagle project during COVID. So I 3D modeled and sourced all the materials and put together these face shields that I eventually delivered to the Red Cross. And so what this essentially signifies is how I made an impact with my passions. A few more examples, some of the class shirts I designed for the senior class in my school. On the top right is an example of a painting I made for endangered species advocacy. And on the bottom right are some seed ball presses that I designed to, essentially manufacture seed balls that we can disperse among areas that have been deforested. So something that I wanted to touch upon when I'm talking to you guys is creating a cohesive story in your portfolios. My portfolios told a story of someone who's very passionate about the environment, as you can see about the seed balls, and also very passionate about transportation. And so this is a page out of my portfolio where on the left is a bunch of pieces from my art portfolio where I'm talking about, the future of transportation design, where I have, flying ambulances, delivery drones, futuristic train stations. And on the right is where my engineering intersects that, where I built a drone. I have built automatic car chargers that kind of position at the charge port. And of course, other projects where I learned to make PCBs and the seed balls, of course. Now I want to touch a little bit on, why our portfolios are important. I just talked about a little bit about my experience with portfolios where I've combined art and engineering. Now I want to talk about, why are they important if you have the skills to make a portfolio? So first of all, your portfolio opens up doors. So when you start a portfolio early on in maybe 10th or 11th grade, for example, you put together a set of engineering projects or a set of art projects that you've done. What this does is essentially provides you with internship opportunities through your networking circles. When you present your art portfolio, if it's impressive enough, it might land you an opportunity. And now, how does it help with your college application at the end of this process? Well, it brings a tangible perspective to your application. Everything else takes the form of activity lists and essays. When you submit a maker portfolio or an art portfolio or a music portfolio or a research portfolio, what that does is it makes the work that you've done tangible, because these portfolios take the form of pictures and videos, showcases your skills outside of the essays, and it also lets your personality shine through. Because if we take MIT, for example, in your maker portfolio, you have the opportunity to submit a video where you showcase your projects. And your projects themselves can speak a little more to, what you are and what you're passionate about. And, for me personally, that was environmental advocacy and the future of transportation. So yeah, that's all from my part. I hope you learned a little bit more about engineering and art portfolios. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to put them in the chat. As I spoke about before, I've had many years of experience mentoring students and future leaders as well. And I would love to pass that along if you guys sign up with me on Luminar Central. And with that, I'd like to hand it off to the next speaker.
Hi, everyone.